And I'll just tell you the story about how Sattva Vinyasa emerged now while we're doing this. You guys have a little more time before potty break. So I think it was back in like 2012, between like 2011, 2012, you know, a lot of us yoga teachers were looking for more intelligent sequencing or more focused on anatomy. And so we love the vinyasa flow practice. And I actually threw my back out in the vinyasa flow practice because I'm hypermobile, you know, jumping back to plank and loading my low back and not having the stira. I had more sukha and that mobility. And so I was actually teaching one day in boat pose and felt my whole sacrum just come out of alignment. So I actually hurt my back, and then I thought, okay, I need to start teaching in a more intelligent way so that I can make sure these students aren't just working toward peak poses, aren't just doing all these namaskars. And we still always taught pretty slow, mindful, Ayurvedically, but how can we teach more of this vinyasa krama approach to really build to what we need and listen to what we need through this practice? So I was already starting to do that, and we were already teaching teacher trainings, 300-hour. We were building our yoga therapy program at the time, but everything was very compartmentalized. So it was like, here I am teaching my chair yoga class from my mentor and yoga therapy teacher, Yanni Chapman. And here I am teaching this vinyasa flow from my teachers, Richard Freeman and Shiva Ray. And, you know, bringing in the Ayurveda from David Frawley is kind of like piecing it together where I could, but it was very compartmentalized. And I loved my vinyasa practice. So that's all I was doing. I wasn't doing any yoga therapy for myself. I was just doing it for people with cancer or chronic pain. And I got on a plane to be with one of my teachers, Richard Freeman and Robert Thurman, at one of their retreats. And so I was taking a nice little break, and it was the morning of the Boston Marathon bombing. And so everyone was so somber in the airport. And I was just ready to get on the plane and be introverted and get my book. You know, you need the space and time when you have little ones and yoga studio. And so it was my time to fill up and be a student. And I was looking forward to that. And this gentleman got on the plane, and I smiled at him really big at first because I thought it was one of my teacher friends, Simon Park, who's also a Prana Vinyasa teacher. So I gave him this big smile. And then, or maybe that was when we were still in line. And then I got on the plane, like got my book ready to just like close out the world, not talk to anybody. And he came, and his seat was right next to mine. It wasn't my friend. And so he just started talking to me. And he's like, what do you do? And I said, I'm on my way to a yoga retreat. I own a yoga studio, teach teachers. And he's like, great. He's like, I'm going to take advantage of this, how many hour flight, maybe like 10-hour flight or something, to ask you all my questions because I've been wanting to try yoga. And they say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so, you know, at first I'm just like, oh, shit, no. I just want to like close off and be introverted and fill up. But we started talking, and it was just this beautiful relationship. Like as he was asking me questions, I felt like the whole Sattva Vinyasa, like everything was connecting as I was sharing with him what I was doing. And it came together in such a seamless way that I got off the plane and like wrote the whole Sattva Vinyasa methodology like right after that. So I was completely inspired by him. He was the teacher in disguise. I feel like he was heaven sent. And as we parted ways, he was like, oh, I want to give you something. And he gave me this Buddhist mala that he was wearing, this bracelet. And I gave him my mala beads. So we exchanged those gifts. But I really feel like he was a teacher, and it was such an inspiring moment. So that's where all of this started joining together in a cohesive way of like bringing together yoga therapy. And you'll see how that works out with the vayus, as we talk about the vayus and the winds of the body, and how that can be an integral part of sharing, whether it's vinyasa or hatha or yoga therapy. That becomes the foundations for all of that. So thank you. I don't even know his name. Just his face, just his beautiful face. So thank you to him, that angel that sat next to me on the plane in 2013. All right, good. Wow.